What's up, YouTube? Today we got this Samsung Galaxy A5. I got this thing from a customer of mine. He usually just buys lots of broken phones, and whatever I can fix up for him for very cheap, I just give him some very cheap quotes. In this case, this phone had a missing SIM tray and a broken back glass. He didn't even care about the broken back glass, he just wanted the SIM tray. And I said I had some spare ones in black, so I said I could give it to him for free. But when I put this thing in and check the SIM card status, it shows that no SIM is connected, even though we have definitely just inserted it. Also, another way to check if the SIM is getting detected, we can turn on the mobile data, but it's telling us that no SIM card is found in the phone. Even though when we remove our SIM tray, wouldn't you know, there's a SIM card inside. So that means that there was definitely something wrong all along, and that there was a very clear reason why the SIM tray was missing in the first place, because the SIM slot doesn't work on this phone. But since I'm practicing soldering lately, and since I have a couple of these A5s for parts, I figured I would go ahead and see if I can fix this thing. He asked me how much I would charge for a SIM reader replacement, and I told him it would cost 10 bucks if I could fix it for him. Now, is that a bargain or is it a bargain? Plus, if I can learn something from it, it's always a W for me anyway. So before we get started, let me just flex with this shit. As you can see, we got this entire new camera stand. Now, this little bit of plastic cost me 60 bucks, and even though the price was this high, and I didn't expect myself to say this is like the overhead camera setup of my dreams. I can bring anything in picture with this, and it's still very easy for me to work like this. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this phone opened up. Oh, as a matter of fact, I do want to turn it off first. There we go. So let's get cooking.
5 hours later.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the phone is cooked. So let's go ahead and open it up. Well, that was easy. Now let's get all these screws and these covers removed. I'll put on my gloves. Hello. There we go. So the first thing I noticed upon inspection is that there is a shitload of fingerprints and stuff inside of here. And since the back glass was also suspiciously easy to remove, I am fully confident that somebody has already been inside the phone and maybe even tried to repair or diagnose it. Regardless of that, it still looks very neat on the inside, so it looks like they did take care while doing it. The SIM reader is right here. So that's right here, but it's on the other side of the motherboard, so if we want to properly inspect it, we'll have to take the entire motherboard out, which shouldn't be too much of a drama. We'll have to take this top SIM thing out as well. Oh, that's for the SD card actually. Look, so on this A5 model, they do have the full layout, but a SIM card just doesn't fit in here. It looks like some kind of modified version of the S7. Anyways, now that we've disconnected almost everything, we can try and work the board free by wiggling it a bit, getting it up. I know you have to slide this model out because of the charging port, which is attached to the motherboard. So in case something ever goes wrong with that, you'll have to get it soldered onto, because you can't just swap it out. Okay, there we go. So this is the motherboard, and this is the SIM tray that doesn't work. Let me try and zoom for a bit. Oh, I love this camera. So I don't see anything obvious on here. No water damage or nothing. So it may just be like some broken pin on the inside. I can try and look like this, but it's gonna be very hard because I don't have a microscope. I do have this thing. Let me try and put my camera on it. Oh, it actually kind of works. So you can see right here that there's one pin that seems to be sticking out. Jesus, this thing is disgusting. Like real disgusting. I can't even look through it. Let me wipe it down real quick. Okay, that's a lot better. Alright then, take two. Look how clear that is. Wow. And I can even use my zoom camera while I'm under this zooming thing. So this is super handy actually. But look, you can see one pin is shining right there. So it looks like it's kind of like misaligned or bent. Also, one thing that I noticed when I tried to put this SIM card in is that I heard something like snap, and then it went in kind of hard, and then it just went in normally. So I'm pretty confident that there's like a broken or bent pin inside of there. And given the fact it's already pretty broken, I can like try and slide my tweezer through here to make sure there's no gunk or stuff in here. Or use this comically large toothbrush to try and get in here and scrub it, because you know the bristles are pretty much as long as the inside of the SIM tray, so, and we don't really have much to lose, so I can't really mess it up more than it already is. So once again, it looks to be clear right now, so let's just go for a quick test round to see if scrubbing it with this comically large toothbrush worked. Okay, so the phone just turned on. Let's check out if it worked. So here you go. As you can see, it slides in just fine. But the SIM card can still not be read. So we'll move on to our next step in trying to fix this thing. And although you may not expect it, the next step is a little bit more diagnosis, because upon visual inspection, the SIM tray itself looks just fine. So I want to make sure that we're not going to replace the SIM tray when it's not bad. How do we go about that? We put this thing into diode mode to check if there's not any shorted component near it, causing the SIM card not to be detected even though the SIM tray is good. So we put this thing in diode mode, red probe on ground, and we'll randomly probe some stuff around the SIM tray to see if there's no short. So if it beeps on both sides of one of these components, that means that it's shorted to ground, but we only get one side on all of these components, so I'm pretty sure that the SIM tray itself is busted. So let's go ahead and grab our donor phone. We just gotta disassemble this thing to the point where we get access to the motherboard, just like the other one. So I was just checking what was wrong with this board in case it could be fixed. And it seems like this donor board that I was trying to grab just has some kind of short on like the main line. Because as soon as I connect the power supply to it, it's drawing a lot of power. Since this thing could still be fixable for me, I don't want to salvage it for just a SIM tray. So I'll just put this aside for now and grab this other A5. Since like I said, I really have a bunch. And I believe this thing is a display unit, so the SIM would never work on it anyways. But as you can see, it does still have a SIM tray. So since this thing has a SIM tray and is never going to be able to be used, of course, I might as well take this one for parts. So if you compare this motherboard from the demo unit to our retail motherboard, you can see that it's missing this chip and that little thing too, and that little thing as well. While on this one, here's a chip, and here's some antenna thing. So this thing has no network connectivity via mobile networks whatsoever and only works on Wi-Fi. Which is why the SIM tray in this thing is absolutely useless, and we could use it perfectly to patch up our retail motherboard. Look, I'll let you guys compare some extra stuff. So this is our retail motherboard and this is our demo unit. Check it out, all these parts are missing while our retail motherboard has some shields around there. And I'm not sure if I've used this one for parts before, but it looks kind of messy. Look, so somebody's definitely worked on this motherboard, but the SIM tray looks perfect. Okay, so what we want to do right now is get the SIM tray removed without melting anything, which is incredibly hard given the fact that it's also built out of plastic. I'm thinking our best bet is to grab our broken motherboard first and to add some extra solder to the solder joints on the side to bring the melting temperature down, then apply some hot air without breaking anything, because we need to do the same thing on the other motherboard. But if we mess up this one, it doesn't matter because this one already has a broken SIM tray. So this thing is perfect to practice on or to get an idea of how hard it really is. Yeah, that's secure. So I'll grab some solder paste. This has a melting temperature of 183 degrees Celsius. So talk about low melting temperature. This is what you want. I'll apply a little bit on each solder joint. So as soon as it will heat up, it will probably merge with the solder joints. That's as much as I can put on. I really hope this is gonna do the trick, because it's always very tricky. You can mess one thing up, like make it a little bit too hot, and you can burn or short some of the components. And if you use a lower temperature, you can easily rip some pads or something. So you really wanna like watch out and take your time with this. Although not really sure why, I know for a fact that these bent nozzles work way better for soldering somehow. Oh shit. So I'll put a bent one on. And I set this thing to about 350 degrees. Now I'll add some flux to help the solder flow. So like this, we should definitely be able to get it off. You can see it's already letting loose. I can get my tweezers under it, luckily. And I flipped it off. This is very impressive. I really hope I got that on camera right, because that was a magnificent job. Can nobody tell that I did this shit from my bedroom? Look at it. And there's our culprit. The pin was indeed broken. But this is the best part. Look how well we preserved the pads on the motherboard. Look at this. The plan worked out perfectly. And here's our bad SIM tray. You don't need to be an expert to see that this is not right. Let me show you guys. We got 1, 2, 3 pins here. And on the bottom we got 1, 2, and this one is broken off. So I was 100% right when I said I heard a clicking sound or something snapping, because this pin is snapped off. Okay, so like I was saying, this is such a neat job I just did. So I heated it up enough to melt the solder joints, but not melt the plastic. So that's what we want to do on our donor board as well. But first let's get this cleaned up, because there's a lot of nasty flux around here. You can also see that the solder is spread kind of unevenly. Some of these balls are big, some of them aren't. And right here there's a big ball, but on the left there's not. So I'm gonna run it over with my soldering iron and a desoldering wick, and then prepare the pads for our new sim tray that we're gonna be placing on in a bit. Okay, so check it out. All the pads are evenly flattened now, and we got everything cleaned up. Then I'm gonna tin the pads again. I will use a lot of flux because this causes the solder to go in the right place, so we won't have too little or too much, and everything should get evenly spread. You may notice that I'm cleaning it and adding flux and soldering a lot, because this is all about the preparation. If you don't prepare these things right, you're gonna have a very low success rate. So you really wanna make sure that there's no bridges or anything with the solder, or a place where it's not connected properly, because all these points need to make proper contact. But check this out. We got beautiful even blobs, even balls on each and every point. So this is definitely ready. So now let's get this board removed and grab our donor board. For this one, I'm gonna do exactly the same as I did with the last board. I'll add some low temp solder paste, add flux, heat it up to 350 degrees Celsius, and then gently take the sim reader off. Now, for the people that wanna learn out here, the number one rule with this stuff is to never ever force it. If you feel like you need to apply a lot of pressure getting it out, you're gonna crack or rip something, and it's better to just keep applying heat. Now the number 2 rule is to not keep the heat in the same place. If I keep heating it up like this, it's gonna burn someplace, and the other place is not gonna melt enough, causing it to break and burn. You really wanna keep circling around there. If you don't apply the heat evenly, you're gonna burn and break stuff. Okay then, now without any further ado, let me apply some solder paste again. Okay then, this looks fine to me. So let's add flux. And remove our good sim tray. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh. Okay, so check this out. Everything is still in perfect shape from both the bottom and the top side. This one has the pin that we were missing on the other one. Okay, so I cleaned it up pretty good. So let's go ahead and prepare our motherboard one last time to get the sim tray on there. I think the best idea I have is to first heat it up, then kind of watch the solder melt, and after it's melted I can put the sim tray on, because I might melt the plastic if I heat it up for a long time. Oh, it looks like they melt very quickly. I'll just align it first then. Let's try and cool it down for a bit and clean it up. So we can take a better look at our final product. So it's definitely on there very flush, as you can see, and it is aligned on both sides. If we take a quick look, can we insert the SIM card properly? The answer is yes. And does the eject button work as well? We should see it pop out. You should see it pop out when I press the eject button. And it does. So now for the moment of truth, I'll just speed up through the assembly process again, and then we'll check if we just fix the SIM tray. Okay, the phone has booted, so let's head over to settings and see if we did indeed fix the SIM tray this time. This icon just appeared, and that usually means that it has no connection, which it doesn't, but we can turn on the mobile data now without the error. And better yet, if we head into our SIM card status, you can see, oh shit, you can see that we are now connected to a network, so that means that it can read the SIM card again. So let's get this phone turned off right now, and I'll fully reassemble it. Now, since the back cover pretty much fell off when I tried to take it apart, I'm very sure that the adhesive on here is not effective anymore at all, so we can just put some raw glue over it. Before we close it up, we always blow it out. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. This Samsung Galaxy A5 is now fixed using donor parts, so it didn't cost me a buck. And this thing can go to some broke ass in need. Because even though don't nobody use no budget phone from 2017 no more, I think it's very valuable that I just confirmed that I mastered this technique of soldering SIM trays. I didn't know I was that good at it, but now that I got some new tools and new camera setup, really I'm feeling brand new, my videos are looking brand new, and as it turns out, even my repairs are like new. I took perfect care of this thing. And maybe I even taught some of you guys watching something. As you can see, we are roaming right now. This is for my second SIM card. So it's definitely connected. And we should see the little symbol disappear as soon as we eject the SIM card again. So check it out. There we go, gone. And when we push it in, the mobile data turns right back on. So that was it for this Samsung Galaxy A5. It's not looking like brand new, but it's working like brand new. So if you guys happen to have any suggestions or tips or anything like that, please make sure to leave them down below in the comments. And I'll hope to reply to each and every one of y'all. For now, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll check you guys out in the next video. Peace out.